Millionaire podcast. Charles Oglesby, Todd Millionaire, here with Miss Michelle Welch.
What's up, y'all?
Yeah. We
So this
live
is
on
gonna
both YouTube and on Facebook. So shout out to everybody who's tuning in on either platform. Make sure you guys comment your city and your state. Also, if you guys have a particular question that you want to ask, by all means, drop a question too, and you'll get to be shown on the screen, which is very cool. And we'll answer your question. So anything business related, investing related, cleaning related, whatever related.
honestly,
Tap
because
in
there's
with
just
us, y'all.
so much knowledge. So last week we were supposed to go on live, but our schedules were a little conflicted about some stuff that was going viral on Twitter. I don't know, you remember? There was like a girl that was talking about the $100,000 topic or something like that.
$100,000 topic. I mean, it's always something out there about $100,000 on the internet.
Yeah, but
that's kind of like the magic number.
The magic number.
$100,000 this and that.
But does that matter? Does the $100,000 matter? I'm trying to look for the tweet right now that you tweeted.
Is it $100,000 in cash or $100,000 annual income?
Annual income.
And what she's saying that it was the girl who, I think I know you're talking about. She was saying something about like, I saw a post recently. And there's a girl who's like, I can't date a dude who makes $95,000 a year. $95,000 is this and that.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question? Did your grandma tell your grandfather that he had to be a six-figure N-word? More than likely not. She was just happy to have a man. Want to know why? Because back then you couldn't even get a credit card if you didn't have a man. You couldn't do nothing if you didn't have a man. You couldn't vote. You couldn't do anything. So like a lot of, I think, personal liberties have caused women to see less value in men. And I think that men are still valuable. And this is why, like, I always talk about like the value of women and how women are so valuable and they add a lot of value to what you're trying to accomplish. The same thing can be true about men and how men can add value to what you're trying to accomplish. Now, the thing that I'm noticing is it's the pairing of man and woman, because when men work with other men, it's very difficult. And so a man will say, I can't work with other men because he wants to run off and do his own thing, or we can't get any money together. And so what we end up interpreting that is, men suck. No, men with men just doesn't work. And the same thing is true in relationships. This is why you need a wife and not, they be in there fist fighting. And so the same thing is true with women. Like women, sometimes they struggle working with other women for whatever that reason might be. I don't know, because I'm not a woman and I've never been a woman working with another woman. But I would say that I think that when I see like really strong, motivated, like women like you, women like Jacqueline, like they probably are going to have a hard time working with some women.
I do.
For whatever that reason might be. And so,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so I think that's why it's like, before we go into so essentially what I'm saying is that we got to stop putting financial requirements as a condition for the quality of the human being. Ooh. We got to stop doing that because it creates so many other issues that create bigger issues. And so you ain't a man if you don't make this much money. You ain't a man if you're not 6 feet tall. You ain't a man if blah, blah, blah. A lot of folks' granddads wasn't 6 feet tall, fam. A lot of folks' granddads wasn't buying Louis, Gucci, Fendi. We like the first generation to really be on this designer stuff. Like our parents, maybe your parents, but like my parents weren't really on designer. Like they didn't have no $1,000 sneakers.
My parents weren't like that.
Those are $1,000 sneakers, y'all. You see my $1,000 sneakers in the background? I got to do that more. That's why I should just keep my stuff there.
Right there so everyone can see it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. It is hard for women, like, I don't want to say like me, more or less high performing women to work with other women, because I think there's a lot of issues when it comes to ego, confidence. A lot of women get it mixed up. Like when you're somebody that knows what they want, when you have very good understanding of what your path looks like, it intimidates people. And what happens is, we grow a lot, like constantly growing. And like, you could probably relate to this. Like you always feel like you could be doing more, you could be doing better. And unfortunately, sometimes I attract people that are on a certain level and then I grow really quickly. And as I'm growing, there's more envy than, like support, or, hey, how did you get there? Or whatever the case may be. And I just think women are just, they don't like, seeing people doing better than them. Like, and it's the
Mhm.
same thing with guys. It's just a little bit more cattier with women. They'll sit in your face and act like they're cool with you, and actually, like, the whole time be, plotting on how they can, fuck shit up.
So I think that this again goes to what I was saying, where the reason why he's maybe intimidated by you is because he feels like his manliness or manhood is based off of earning more than you in this immediate moment. When, in my opinion, I don't think that necessarily has to be the case. We have to normalize
Mhm.
situations where there's relationships where the woman might earn more than the man. Why? Because that's the reality that we live in. If you look at the statistics, you're gonna see a lot of women earn more than men. Now, I don't want you just carrying around no bum. I don't want you just like taking care of him and supporting his dreams and he's like a failure. Like, I think what really matters is the qualities of the human being. Damn the results. If he wakes up every single day and he gets after it and he's hustling and maybe it just hasn't manifested for him, or maybe he's waiting on a career, a promotion, or maybe whatever he's doing, he's building his business, he's grinding. Those are the qualities that you want in a person.
Yeah.
And I think that there's people who might be placed in certain positions and had nothing to do with the quality of human being they are. And now they're getting women, and the women are mad because they found a dude with money who's a bum. Because just because he has money doesn't make him a dope person. He might have had
No.
parents who placed him in that position. He might have had favorable circumstances that place him in that position. And so we got to look at something more than just money. I really thought that like all of our issues were money issues. I really did. I was like, oh
No,
man,
they're inner.
if
Very much
black
inner.
folks could just get money, we'd be good. And then I saw a lot of black folks get money and still be terrible people. And I was like, damn, that's not the solution that I thought it was.
No, they need therapy, Charles. I honestly think there needs to be an intervention, because the fact is like, when you look at everything, and this conversation happens on Twitter so much. Do you see other ethnic backgrounds or people talking about the things that we argue about on the internet? Like, do you see white people talking about income and or any of
Never
those
see
things?
it.
You don't. You see them talking about things that actually matter. And the fact is that, and I completely agree, is like, you said it earlier and I'm just about to tweet it. Stop putting financial requirements on the quality of a human being. Like, someone can be an amazing person and they can make $50,000 a year, and that has nothing to do with you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Be a better person to that person and help them grow. And I'm all down for growing with somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'm the single one of the group. So I'm all down for it. I'm just not going backwards. That's my only thing. You know what I'm saying? You have to
But
have hustler mentality.
backwards in terms of money or backwards in terms of character?
Character, because the fact is that I have my own money. So I'm not after what someone is worth or anything like that, because I have my own worth. So for me, and that it goes to test to my parents, the way they raised me. They didn't raise me to ever depend on anybody or to look at a man and be like, what's your worth? It's how does he treat you? How
Mm,
is he going to treat your children? How are you guys going to grow together, at the end of the day? Because money can come and go. I can
yeah.
fall tomorrow and not have anything. So it's just, at the end of the day, I don't look at people for money, because when you look at people for money, you end up with idiots. I've dated men that have money and I absolutely hated it. Like, because they feel like because they have money that there is some type of control there. And it's like, buddy, listen, I
Yeah.
got money too. Like, we don't got to do this. So
Yeah.
it's just people's perception, and they think money does not make you not a lame. You can have
You know
a
what?
$1,000,000 and be the lamest person ever.
A lot of women who get money because they've experienced what it's like to be with a man who has money when they don't have money. And it's not a very
Yes,
pleasant experience.
it's horrible.
As much as it's glamorized on TikTok and they celebrate and they talk about it and they're like, get you a baller. You probably ain't had a baller because you're still baller ambitious. But if you was smart, you be trying to be the baller.
Exactly. And guys, I had my fair share, and I've dated a guy that put me in a new house in Lake Nona, which is a very wealthy area here in Florida. I've had him give me a new car. I've had all of that. And I was better off by myself. And so that's just the big thing. It's just like, you can tell who's been around money before. You can tell who's had experiences with life before, because they act different. And
Right.
you can tell the type of women that are screaming, men are sending cash apps. No, they're not. they're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's other things that you're doing for those things. And I just think that, like, we put this image out on the social media, and so many people buy into it, and it's just like you're passing over someone that's going to be a great husband, a great father, a great provider, because you want an image of someone getting you a new Bentley for your birthday and getting you a bust down rollie. It's like that's not really realistic. Like it's not. And I think we
Yeah.
just got to be more open about it. Like I'm a pretty girl, I feel like I'm well put together. I have my own everything. I take care of my kids. They're in a great school. I make great money, and I still run into assholes. I still have problems in dating. So, and I don't seek money at all. Like I don't. That's not. I hate talking about money. I hate that conversation because I feel like I want to know who you are as a person, not what you can give me, not what you can offer me. I can give myself all these experiences. So it's just like, how are you going to help me be a better me? How are you going to help me build what I got going on? And that's kind of what I lead with. And, I'm 30 now. So it's like, I don't really care to be flown out. I can fly myself out. I want a family. Like I want to build a foundation. So it's the mentality too. And then when you look at it, the girls are young and they're like 25 years old getting BBLs. And it's like your adult body hasn't even set in yet. And it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to our generation. Like it's so crazy to me, like just to
There's
watch it.
I would say two things I want to say. The first is that it's unfortunate because we got to look at the society that's grooming these men to make them think that all their worth is how much money they earn, and the way that we treat people who don't necessarily earn that much money, the way we talk about them. It's just interesting because the person that you dogging is gonna be the person that you needing, and the person that you mad because they didn't write you a check. And so I believe that we need to do more uplifting in our community and more understanding in our community and less belittling in our community. And the other
Yep.
thing I was going to say is that it's interesting. When I was in maybe college, my sister was finishing high school and she was like taking this class with this girl, very pretty girl. And I was like, I know she's going to be pretty when she grows up, or she's already pretty now, but she's going to be even prettier when she gets out of college, out of high school. And what's interesting is she was naturally pretty, but for some reason that wasn't enough. And so the first thing that she did was she got big boobs. And then the
Yeah.
next thing that she did is she got the fake butt. And the next thing she did was she got the fake teeth. And I was like, man, I was like, you were so much doper when you were normal. Like, but she thinks that she has this great life because she travels and she goes to different places. But I'm like, man, you don't have anything. You at one point in time had something, because I want to say when she was relatively young, like early 20s, she had a kid and she ended up getting married. And like the dude was a dope dude, but that wasn't enough. And I saw this TikTok about we live in an era where women are gonna move on no matter how dope you are. So if you're a provider, then you don't have personality. So she's gonna leave you for the dude with personality. If you have both providing and personality, then she's gonna leave you for the dude who's, I don't know, whatever the other characteristics they're looking for, more stable. And the thing is a lot of the things that we do are because our grandparents couldn't do them. And so a lot of women have known women who were in relationships and they're unhappy, they were miserable. And so they always told themselves, that's never going to be me. And so when they walk into a situation like that, they're like, yeah, I don't want to be trapped in a situation that's not serving me, where I'm not happy. I'm going to be out. And I think that we have to find a gray area, because I know a lot of men, like our grandfathers, great grandfathers, made women miserable. I have a great uncle who was a terrible husband, and his wife just stuck beside him. And I think that it's a combination of men not being bad men, and then women understanding that, like, we ain't just out of here on the drop of a hat. Because you know the stats, like 70% of marriages are ended by women. And so you end up creating this society where like men have to cater to women and women don't have to do anything because they hold other cards, essentially, especially once you pass that marriage threshold. So it's just interesting that I'm seeing, but I always want us to do better. And what we're at right now is really difficult. I know so many people who are in their 30s, in their mid 30s, and they're still single. And it's like, I don't know for y'all. I mean, not for you, but like for them out there, like the Jamal Vitoses of the world. He out there searching. I'm like, man, like, and then when they do find somebody, it doesn't work. And I'm just like, I want that for y'all, man. I really want that for y'all.
I want it for us too, all the single people out there. Because, at the end of the day, I feel like when you're somebody that, is ambitious and you're a hustler and you're all of these things, like you want someone to build with. I'm a really dope person, I feel like, not to toot my own horn. And I'm built an empire and it's so amazing to see all this. But it's like I'm building it for my boys, but they're gonna leave me. That's the thing, like,
Very
my
true.
kids are leaving me at they're gonna go do their have their own life, and, like, I'm the type of mom, like, I'm not, like, I have boys, but they're not my kings, they're not my head of household, they're not none of that, they're children, and I raise them as such and to be amazing boys, but it's like, eventually, they're gonna leave me, and I have to have my own partner, and I have to have my own things established, and so that's really important for me because I'm building a lot in my life, and it just sucks because it's like the dating pool now has, like, piss in it because there's just so much, guys can't trust women because women are showing to just be gold diggers. And it's like, bro.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
I saw this. I watch a lot of TikTok because I'll be looking for different topics, and I saw something talking about like dating in college versus dating after college, and why dating in college gives you a more like when you're in college. I'm telling y'all, when I was in college, I had a roster like a mug. Like it was crazy. It was crazy the amount of women that I had in college, and so I had a selection. I had a lot of things to choose from, which was great. And I chose, and then we made it rock out. But she like got chose from a long list, which is really cool. And so my question, and then what he said is like when you get out into the world, what's interesting is there's so many different variations because people are this old. People maybe not have went to college. People did go to college. People are like working a job. They didn't have a job. They got a record. Whatever that looks like. There's so many variables out there. Do you think that contributes to the concept of there being pee in the dating pool?
Um,
Because I'm sure you're meeting like dudes who are like much older than you, and maybe some dudes who are younger than you.
See, but that's the thing. It's all about preference. I will not date a guy that's younger than me. Like I won't. Um, I can't like honestly, mentally, like
But
I'm
do
not
you
even
run into people that are younger than you who you might be interested, but it's like, damn, you're too young?
so I've tried, right? So I've someone was like 26.
Michelle, I'm
What?
just asking if have you like
Oh,
I'm not saying like have you had
me
an
personally.
experience dating somebody? I'm saying like if you're out in the day to day and you're like, man, I'm interested in that person, but damn, he's too young.
I
You
would
ever
still try.
experienced?
I would
All
still
right.
try.
So,
I
but
wouldn't.
the answer to my question is yes, though.
Yes,
Like
it
there
is.
are younger dudes. Okay, that's what I'm getting at.
Yes. I'm
And
sorry.
what
There
could
are
you
younger dudes.
could you say the same thing about older dudes too?
Yeah.
Like, do you see like older dudes out there? Because this is what's interesting is I feel like the age discrepancy can make the relationship kind of difficult because you kind of have two different mindsets. Like young
You do.
chicks think young thoughts. You don't want a young chick because young chicks be trying to do young people things too. She over here
Which is
trying to, you 30, 33, trying to settle down, and she's out there trying to get flown out. But she could be a dope chick when she gets to be around 30, 33.
yes, exactly. And that's the thing. And it's like even for guys that are older, you got to remember men mature a lot slower than women do. So someone that's 40 could still have the mentality of like a 33 to 35-year-old. So it just depends on how they carry themselves. But there's men that I've met that are older and it's just like what the hell happened to you? Like they're well rounded and stuff like that, but it's just their mentality is not on the intellectual level that I would want it to be on, or we not carry good conversation. And even, I have a girls chat, we talk about it, like when they go on dates with older guys, like it's honestly now, it's like it's not how it used to be where like you could go specifically for an older man or a younger man. Like it's just like everything is tainted because everyone has trust issues. Everyone has, or someone has like baby mama, baby daddy drama, or someone, a lot of men lie and they say that they're single and they're not.
They out
Like,
here married in these streets, huh?
what? You know how many wives I've had come to me as a woman and I'm like, I didn't even know I don't even know him. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's crazy. And
You
the
out there
thing is,
wrecking
it's just
homes,
like,
Michelle?
what?
You out there wrecking homes?
That I didn't even know about. I didn't even know.
Like he
And
didn't even have a home, but now apparently he has a home.
apparently, and that's the thing. And it's just like,
That's
also
kind of
for
crazy
women,
though. Like, why would she? I think you said this. Like, why would she come to you? Like, you pursued him knowing he was married. Like, nah, it was vice versa. He knew he was married. He pursued you.
go
He
get your
wrecked his
husband.
own damn home.
Like, why aren't you talking to your husband? And
Yeah,
that's
you
just a
need to
big
be
thing for
hollering
me.
at
It's
him,
like,
man.
you don't need to talk to me. You need to talk to him because I'm not the type of woman to go after somebody with a man. I think that's disgusting and that karma is not cute. So it's just like I would never be put in that position unless a man puts me in that position. And a man has. And it was very frustrating. And it's just like
Was
men
he older
and
than
women.
you?
Women lie
Was he
too.
older than you? Was there a lot
He
of
was older
promise
than
in
me.
him?
He was older
Did you
than me.
think that like it was a good situation? Did he charm you?
He didn't really charm me because we initially started off talking because he was going to do he was my videographer and photographer. And so it was really
Uh,
like a business type situation. And so what it was that he left his Apple Watch at home and his wife saw my address in his Apple Watch because he would come to my house because I have an office in my house and we would bust down content and stuff like that. So she found my name on Facebook, Facebook messaged me, and it was like, she basically sent me my address and was like, "You better entertain this." And I was like, I called him and I said,
y'all,
"Can you get your
y'all
wife?"
was at the house busting down.
Because that's where my office was in the front of my house. I had like a sunroom that I turned into my office. So he would come over and bring me my content. We would go over it because he was creating all my content for me, and
So
it was
that was
nothing
just a
like that.
misunderstanding, though. That was just a misunderstanding.
It was. However, the way she went about it, she threatened me and she sent me my home address where my children live, and she thought that was cute. And it's like, nah, sis, like we don't get down like that. Like
They
I don't
carry
get down.
guns in Florida. They got guns
Listen,
in Florida, man.
right there, like
Tell her
and fuck around and find out. I don't care. So, and I had to tell him, like, listen, like, when it comes to my children and my home, that's my sacred place. I don't let nobody play with that. And, for somebody to step outside of that, and we're working together, we have a working relationship. I was like, bro, you blew that. Like, I can't work with you anymore. And then on top of that, she made him delete all of our content. So I lost so much content off of dishonesty, like off of just whatever I don't know what was going on. And so that's why, like, sometimes with men, it's hard for me to work with men because when a man's wife or girlfriend typically sees me, it's like, oh, well,
she's a
what are you
threat.
doing with her? And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
I don't want your man. Like, I
That's
really
very
don't.
interesting. It's interesting because it does make it difficult as like a male business owner too, because it's like, how do you straddle that line between like this is business and then people perceiving it as not business? So it's like, how do you do that? I don't know. I think communication and trust are important, and so proving
Mhm.
that you are somebody who's like not gonna step out. When I first met my wife, I was wilding, like I told y'all. So I met my wife when I was like my second year in college, and that was like my wildest year in college. Like I just became a Sigma, and so like the
Oh,
beginning of our relationship is kind of like marred with that, but it's so long ago that I try to get us to forget about it. And we were never together. We were just kind of talking. So like she was like one on the list, but she was the most important one. She was a special one, you know?
oh,
And and so like when I did cross that threshold and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make this serious, like that's when I cut everything off and I was like, this is where we at. And but what's interesting is like before I became like a Sigma, started wilding, I actually was like that kind of guy, like a one woman guy. Like I had one girlfriend in high school, two girlfriends first year of college, and then next year of college was amazing. And so then the third year I kind of settled down a little bit. But again, like the relationship can be marred. So a part of that probably might have been his situation. He might have a history of, you know what I'm saying,
and
stepping
that's what
out.
I think too, because why would you immediately assume that?
Right.
And I mean, the thing is, I know I probably don't look so appealing right now because I'm like fresh faced, but when I'm like done up and like I look good, like all dressed up for work or content or whatever, like I be getting looks from the wives, and it's just like, sweetheart, I promise, no part of me wants what you have in any way, shape, or form. And I try to be as nice as possible because it's like I don't ever want anyone to ever feel, uncomfortable. That's not my intention, but it's just I'm the single mother hustler that, like, gets it. I'm out here working. I'm doing things. I'm changing lives. And that's intimidating to people. And on top of that, I look good.
But
That's
if it's intimidating to them, let them be intimidated.
yeah,
That's
I
the way
don't
I
care.
see it. Like, bro, we ain't stopping because of your feelings.
We got money
Your
to
feelings
make.
do not pay these bills over here. Your feelings is not paying the mortgage. They not
Mm-mm.
paying for the rent on this office space. They ain't
Nope.
paying none of that. Your
Nope.
feelings are just your feelings.
And they're
So
not real. They're insecurities because you
they're
need to
fickle.
fix
They're
this
gonna
damn home.
change. Yep. Um. So I had a situation today where I was getting some painting done, and sometimes what happens when you deal with multiple people is they kind of try to tag team you. But I realized that I read my contract incorrectly,
Mm.
and you guys, make sure you read the documents you're signing, because we had an understanding through text message that got misinterpreted and then put on a contract. And I'm over here looking at the what I thought was important, which was making sure that they're going to not only paint the walls but mud and sand them. And apparently, I missed that they only put paint the first floor. It's a 2-story house. What the hell do I need only one floor painted for? But I missed it. And so now we're kind of at like a dead stop where they're going to expect more money to paint the second floor. And so we're going to have to figure this out. It's not a fun situation to be in, but I would just let you guys know, don't just read the terms that you're looking for, read all the terms, because folks will slide something in that contract. Also get things in writing. Don't just be out there having verbal business conversations, because you'll say one thing and they'll hear something completely different. You say 2 floors, they hear 1 floor. You say $2,000, they hear $5,000. So get these things in writing. Save your chat logs on your phone. So if you texting about business, do not delete that thread, because you might need to refer to it later. And sometimes it's to refer back to yourself. But usually I got a damn good understanding of what I said. They just be trying to fudge the terms a lot. I had that situation where I was talking to the dude who did, I think, the drywall. And actually, I think we did discuss the drywall. And then he said he was not going to mud it. And so I had to go back and look, and I was like, okay, this is right. Or there's like a conversation where it's like about a number, a total, and I think I was right. So sometimes you need to refresh your recollection as well. So keep records, y'all. Make sure that you read everything that you're signing, and make sure you keep copies of everything you're signing. Very important as a business owner. It's real in these streets, y'all. Like, it's real. I just released my course, Wealth Hacks, and I was talking about how, like, you need to document every transaction that goes out of your business. It's tough, because who does that? Like, who actually like documents the transactions that are coming out of their business? But I need to do that, because if you're flipping a house, you might not know who that LLC is and what that was for. So if you don't document it and provide notes, all you're going to see is just a line item on your bank statement. So you'll see the outflow, but you won't really grasp what it's for. So especially when you're doing like a hefty project like that, you got to keep detailed records.
That's a good. So I have a question, Charles, because there is there's the word scam gets thrown around a lot on the internet, and a lot of times people get put in positions, compromising positions, because someone will say like they didn't get a service rendered or something like that, and then they'll go to the internet, and the internet then judges. And so when a situation like that happens, let's say for example, someone pays a coach or something $20,000, and they didn't feel like they got the service that they needed, and so now they want their money back. So there obviously is a contract in place for that, but now how, with a number that large, how does that work? Because I know that I don't know if you've been through something like that before, but how would that work? How would they be able
I don't typically do things that are that high ticket, and it's probably be out of fear that I wouldn't do that. But I think that what some people do is they measure their I guess fulfillment by deliverables.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm going to do this thing that's not measurable. We got to make sure that we can measure this. I said I'm going to get you this. Did I do those things? If I did those things, then those things are done. But if you promise something that you can't truly measure, now you're leaving it up to their feelings and their what they decide. Like, I don't feel like I got enough. And how many times do people go and they buy some clothes, or they go see a movie? How many people go see a movie and like that movie was whack? I want my money back. But they're going to do that to your business all day. Like, oh, well, this isn't what you said it was. That's based off of your expectation. But a bunch of other people have gotten success from this. So I think that it's tough. I think that we as a community, I've talked about this on Tweet Talks, is we got to stop using the word scam, because scam's not a real thing. Scam is not a real thing. What's a real thing is misrepresentation. We need to actually throw a legal cause of action at it. Don't just call it a scam, because that doesn't make any sense. Say that it was misrepresentation. Say that maybe they sold you on one thing and gave you another thing. That's the actual cause of action. And that's why people like Tony the Closer go to court and lose, because they don't got a cause of action. He just out there just saying, oh, I'm mad. He never actually had a cause of action against him, because whatever contract that signed maybe allowed him to back out. So if anything, he probably should, if he felt as though he was owed the $50,000, you know what you do for that? Black people, you go to court. And you know what's interesting? court. Court's a common thing for businesses because you're doing so much. There's so many moving parts. Robinhood has been sued. Apple's been sued. All these companies are getting sued. And so I think another perspective that we have to take on is understanding that just because you're getting sued doesn't mean that like you can't still exist. Every single company goes through things. You have to expect to go through things. The only people who don't go through things are the people who don't do anything. People don't do anything, don't make any money, don't make any impact. All they do is sit around and poke and laugh and point fingers and comment on the internet. People out there who are doing things, they're engaged in litigation all the time. And that's why Jay Morrison was able to move through what he did, because this isn't his first rodeo. It's not his first rodeo. And it might have been Tony's first rodeo because he seemed to be new to money. No knock against him. I know he's crazy. This isn't he's come after me more than once. Mostly because I was sticking up for Jay Morrison. And so he started like trying to come for me like, oh, y'all need to get off of Jay Morrison. Y'all need to be blah, blah. Be out here on the internet calling women bees, calling people names, calling people BA N-words. Like, that's all I think. Because I tell people that when you slander one, you slander all.
Yep.
When you slander one black person, you think you're just impacting that black person, but you're not. The only people who really see us like that myopic is us. Everybody else just see black folks. Nobody else makes the distinction. If I show up to the grocery store, if I show up to the mall, I go into the Gucci store, they're not like, that's Todd Billy. No, they're like, all right, watch that N-word. And so like we got to understand, like we all kind of speak for each other. And so sometimes you got to just handle your issues professionally instead of like the streets would, because ain't no progress in the streets, y'all.
I can actually 100% agree with that. I remember like 2 years ago, Tony the Closer's people reached out to me when I had my Trap Queen podcast because they wanted me to interview him. And I remember you had mentioned something about you guys, like he tried to come for you. And I was like, oh no, absolutely not. But the whole story of with Jay Morrison, like all that stuff, just I saw it 2 weeks ago on the internet, like when he got the case got, thrown out or whatever the case may be. So I went to Tony Closer's page and I had saw like they were talking about it. And he said that Jay Morrison owed him $100,000 and that the case, he only won it because Jay Morrison had his lawyer send the paperwork to a bad address. So he won it on like a default, not even like proving himself that he really didn't take the money or whatever the case may be.
So
and people are feeding into it.
I don't know the details. I think what he's saying might be partially true because a default judgment isn't necessarily like an actual judgment per se. But it appears as though they looked at the case on the merits and actually rendered a judgment. Like a lot of times what happens is like they'll give you a motion to compel. So essentially they were in discovery. Yeah. And so they had like a motion to compel. They were trying to get him to actually serve the responses. And then what they'll do is they'll move for like sanctions. And so what they're doing is trying to get money out of him and just also say like, hey, you guys need to comply with the court system. But what I think is interesting about the order, if you guys read it, which I did, it essentially stated like he can't make any defamatory statements about him. He can't do all these different things. And if he does, then there's going to be consequences for that. So I feel like it was interesting because it seemed like what the judge did is it gave Tony an opportunity to present his case. He did not present his case. And so what they did is they looked at the evidence that Jay Morrison presented, and then they rendered a verdict or a decision based off of the evidence that Jay Morrison brought. They didn't just say, oh, all right, since he didn't respond, we're just going to take whatever Jay Morrison says is valid.
So they actually showed stuff.
There's no dispute, and that's why they decided that way. And so I think that's important to understand as well.
Thank you for that clarity.
And then also knowing that that's how the game works too. A lot of times folks will sue you knowing you ain't going to respond. How many of y'all have gone to collections and they sued you and you didn't respond, so they got a judgment and they put it on your credit? A lot of times people will sue you because they know people are afraid of lawsuits. A lot of people they're just afraid of the complexity of what goes on and hiring an attorney and the cost associated with it. And so one strategy might just to be suing folks knowing that they ain't going to respond anyway. So another check for Jay Morrison, in my opinion. Like, I think that one of the things that he said is he was like, moguls don't miss court. And I thought that was like a fire statement to make. It's like he on the internet talking about we're gonna be filing this and we're gonna be doing that. I don't think he's gonna do nothing with that. I think he's just gonna tone down his message and stop saying crazy shit. Because that's all they're saying. And this is the thing, you guys. Why would we support somebody on the internet lying about somebody else in their business? You got to realize, like, when you lie against somebody's business, that's something that's called slander per se. And so there's four things that go under slander per se, where they presume damages. One of them is speaking on somebody's business. Another one is saying they have like a loathsome disease. The other one is saying that like an unchaste woman. And the other one is, I forget what the C is. It's the acronym is club, CLUB. And so there's things that you can't just get on the internet and say, y'all, especially if they're false. And so calling somebody a scammer or saying somebody did something they didn't do, if you're speaking out against their business, which is essentially their livelihood,
That's a big
it's
no.
problems. So just do fair. Like I think that I would rather Tony the Closer just be dope instead of like building his platform off of trashing somebody else. Like, why do people support that? Even if you have an issue with that,
He does it
just
to him 500 too.
just build your brand off of being dopes. Don't build your brand off of like tearing down another man's tree. We can't, that doesn't progress the community. All that does is take prosperity here and take it here. When what we should be doing is taking prosperity here and increasing prosperity here so the overall community can grow. We're not doing that. Why? Scarcity mentality. We don't think there's enough to go around. We think the one person's taking all the money. And so we got to knock him down. And he's not the only person that gets knocked down. Almost anybody who climbs to the top gets knocked down eventually. They try to do it to everybody. They try to do it to Diddy. They try to do it to Tyler Perry. They try to do it to all these people. But the resilient people never stop. They've all been hammered. They never stop.
And I think we've all fought our own battles on, people coming for us on the internet, some more than others. But it's sad. It's sad to see. But in this day and age, it's like there's so many people that created businesses out of the pandemic and out of, just nothing, that it's hard for people to trust. And I think that's why in the e-commerce space, I think that's why there's been a decline, because people are scared of being scammed or not getting what they're paying for, or whatever the case may be. So that's a huge problem in the community. And it's happening. Like, I'm big on Twitter. I know you're big on Twitter and you see it a lot. And, daily I see stories of someone saying that they've been scammed from a company or they've been scammed from a person. And it's sad to see, because when you research it and you look at that person, it's like a whole laundry list of things come up. And it's just like, no one questioned this before. So just do good business. Just be a good person. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. That's what happens when you're not in alignment, Charles. You have to fight for things that you shouldn't, because you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing. And that's why in our TCM mastermind, that's why in anything I preach, you have to make sure that everything you're doing is aligned with the purpose of why you're here. And if you don't know what your purpose is, I suggest you seek out and find what that looks like for you. Because when you're not operating in an alignment, you're literally just operating in like free space. Like you're not being intentional about anything you're doing. So it causes all these issues. It's just so sad to see.
Yeah. I think that we also need to give folks grace.
Yes.
You're a second generation entrepreneur. Most people aren't. And so a lot of folks are just trying things out. Now that doesn't mean be out there like taking advantage of people and doing things like that. You should always make a genuine effort to do the right things. But I think that sometimes we'll turn a personal issue into a business issue, or we'll turn maybe an expectations issue into a larger issue. And it's difficult to manage the expectations of everybody. It's hard enough to manage the expectation of your boss, let alone like everybody. I'm pretty sure that businesses get complaints. That just happens. We're the only people who get business complaints, and we start attacking somebody's character. We start assassinating their character, acting as though they acted with malintent, acting as though they didn't have the best interest at heart, acting as though they just out there trying to get over on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely do you see other communities engaging in that kind of stuff unless it's just blatantly obvious and is blatantly there. Like, of course, you see like the Bernie Madoffs and things like that. But like, especially with like Tulsa Real Estate Fund, like things take time. And so there's a lot of criticism in like year one. And unfortunately, like we're all operating in new territory. So the Tulsa real estate fund was new territory for a lot of people. The fact that they did what they did, how they did it, as fast as they did it, and the expectations were kind of difficult to get to that point. On top of new legislation, like the Jobs Act, when he engaged in that, was relatively new. And so I think a part of us giving each other grace is also giving each other grace to fail, because everything ain't gonna work out. And so sometimes you might engage in something, and it's so interesting. We have people who like stand on people who stand on a pile of failures, pointing at other people's failures. It's like, bro, you ain't all that. Like you ain't all. You just got here. Like, what are you doing over here trying to paint this dude out as whatever when you're struggling to get it right too? We're all struggling to get it right. I think that also goes back to like even being in relationships. I think sometimes we're too hard on each other in relationships. And I had to think
Mhm.
about this the other day because like my wife, she's been through some things, and sometimes I'll try to like either want to fix it or hold that against her. And what I
Mm.
realized is I have to adapt to what she's been through as opposed to condemning her for how she acts based off of what she's been through, because she couldn't control what she went through. And so I have to have grace for her as well. And so it's like we're all looking for grace from somebody. Everybody wants like, hey man, don't take it so hard on me. But like, how about we do the same thing for other people? Just a thought.
That's actually really sweet, Charles, for you to, be transparent in that way. And like, I think sometimes people see high performing people on the internet and they tend to forget like we're human. You still have, a wife at home, you still have a baby at home, you still have a home life aside from what people see on the internet. And so I don't think people take that into account. They think you're always operating at, 100% always all the time. And it's like, no, like, you're a human. We're human. I'm still a 30-year-old woman. I still have children. Like I still have a
30.
regular life. And people take this social media stuff like way too serious. And it's just like, how could you as a human feel joy from tearing someone else down and potentially stopping any type of money that they could potentially make?
I never want to do that. But I think that a large part of it comes from what you were around growing up. And this is why I always talk about Dame Dash, because Dame Dash went to boarding school. And I always say, like, when you go to boarding school, it's not just one person with money, everybody got money.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, they've normalized the concept of more than one person doing okay. Whereas we're over here and there's one LeBron James, there's one Michael Jordan, there's one Kevin Hart. And so we think that success is an individual thing and not a collective thing. And so then what happens when we see success and we want success, we think the only way that we can get success is by taking
Right.
that success from somebody else. And we have to normalize abundance. We have to normalize the fact that we can all get it. And we've shown that to be possible. People making money didn't stop anybody else from making money. In fact, it actually probably helped other people make money. And that's the cool thing about business as opposed to being an employee or as opposed to being whatever you might be looking at. Is in business, your wins stimulate other people's wins. The Tulsa Real
Mm-hmm.
Estate Fund success created the success of Chris Senegal's fund, created the success of I'm forgetting his name, Julian Gordon's fund, and however many funds out there. Like they showed that it's possible for black people to come together and raise a bunch of money. And that's important because for the longest time, people didn't think it was possible. Oh, we broke, we ain't got no money, boom, boom, boom. Well, let's show you what we can do when we put together a bunch of small money on a large scale. What can
Exactly.
we do? And so like that success, if and they had he had people trying to strike that down as he was building it. How many more could there be if they didn't put such a concerted effort toward tearing that down? There'll probably be
Damn.
more too from Julian Gordon and Chris Senegal. Other people might make that attempt. But now it's looking like people who have the ability are like, I'm gonna just do my
Mm.
own thing. I don't even want what comes with that. I don't want the expectation. Because the thing about it is a large part of the reason why, like, and I didn't realize this until later, it's not a money thing. It's not a do you have enough money to invest in these things? It's do you mindset. Do you have the mindset to be a long-term real estate developer, investor, knowing that it's not like your job where you just show up the next day and get a check, knowing you might have to wait 5 years, knowing you might hit a recession or a COVID session, knowing that those things might happen. Business owners, Michelle gets it. Andre gets it. I don't got to beg them to do something on the spot. They don't have to beg me to do something on the spot. It's like, bruh, I need you on a podcast in 30 minutes. Andre's done that to me. I need you on a podcast 30 minutes. All right, we there. Put on a shirt, smooth down my hair. We getting it. We get it. But the average person who works a job doesn't get it. And so when you start engaging in business with people who don't get it, you get problems. And that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You get
That's
names
why
called.
it's so important. It's important to be around the people, like the like-minded individuals. I don't think people take it serious enough when, we're talking about like power and proximity. It's my mom always says this. It's tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are. Always. And you have to like keep that mentality with everything you do in your life. That's why, like, with even with certain people, when it comes to wanting to collaborate, you have to like, I guard my brand with my life because this is how I make money. My name is how I make money. So any gossip or any form of negativity towards my name warrants for me to turn up, because how am I supposed to feed my children if someone's out here saying that I'm doing this or I'm doing that? And it also goes into integrity and how you carry your brand. So it's just like, you got to be careful in all aspects, but you also have to be willing to work with people. I mean, I don't think I've gained a new like audience from working with you. Like I've gained a different type of thing just working and being associated with you. So it's just like, it's so important to make sure that you're keeping a clean face, that you're keeping, the standards and practices of your business aligned. But also when you're working with people and collaborating, you got to make sure that their like track record is clean as well. You don't want to work with someone that, comes 5 years ago, they were out here doing God knows what, and now they're trying to, associate with a heavy brand so they can bring themselves back up because all they need is that one cosign. So you always need to just do your due diligence. Like you just always gotta work. And I honestly think too, stop using Twitter and Instagram and all these things as a reference for people, like as their character. Like get to know people before you judge them and before you want to say, well, that secondhand, what is it called? I wouldn't say secondhand hate, but it's like secondhand animosity to somebody. Like find out people for yourself, because your experience with me might be completely different than someone else's. Someone's experience with Charles might be completely different based off of your tone, the day of the week it was. It doesn't matter. You could have called me on a bad day and now I'm the meanest person in the world. But everybody knows that I'm just like the nicest person ever, but you might have just caught me in a moment. And now you're
Yeah.
judging me off the rest of my life, and now you're on the internet slandering me because you think I'm a bitch.
Yeah. I think the funniest thing about the internet is we don't even know these people in real life. Most of us have
Right?
never seen each other in real life, but be out here passing complete judgment on folks. I mean, I've talked about this on Tweet Talk so many times. I just try not to really even dwell on it. I know there's going to be people out there. Like the thing is there's 50% of the world hates LeBron James. But that does that make him less dope? I don't want us to be the community that thinks that because LeBron James is hated by people for his success, that now he's not a good father, a good husband, a good business person, somebody who put his entire community on, somebody who stuck with the woman that he married and wasn't out here running around making kids on her, somebody who like stuck with the woman that he knew in high school. And there's still 50% of the people that hate his guts. So I don't measure my success by whether or not people hate my guts. I would measure my success based on whether I'm performing for the people that actually rock with me. Are
Mm-hmm.
those people happy? Are they sending me dope DMs and screenshots? Cool. Cool. Because you can't please everybody, and trying to please everybody will have you in a perpetual state of frustration. Um, and it's kind of unrealistic because people have their own agendas. People may be hating on you because they see you as competition. People may be hating on you because maybe they had a situation with you where they couldn't take advantage of you, which happens a lot too. Some people will come to you to take advantage of you and you'll bow out, and now they got nothing but negative things to say about you. There are people who you have put massive money in their pocket and then you decide like this isn't mutually beneficial anymore. So now they got negative things to say about you. It happens in dating all the time. I'm sure you're dating somebody, everything's great. You're doing everything for them. You get sick of it. You're like, bro, I'm not carrying you anymore. And I was like, oh, she's a B. She's this, she's that, all these negative things. Why? Not because they genuinely don't like you. It's because they lost access to you. And so you can't please everybody, even if you do right by them, even if you're telling them the right things. I got family members who I try to do right by them and they don't like me. And I'm like, bruh, I carried you for 30 years. I helped raise your kids and now we're not cool. because I said no once. Because now I got responsibilities. Now I'm a father now, and I can't. You know, I my responsibility is Nolan, and so I've made a lot of people upset because my responsibility is Nolan. And there's a lot of people out there who I think they see the reverse. Like I would say, some people they think that their family is more important than their children. I do not. I'm willing to disappoint my family to make sure that my son is good, and they can hate it or love it.
Period. I can't my kids' tuition for school is $16,000 alone a year. Like I don't have time to be playing with people.
Each?
What? No, 8,000 each.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, that's a
Mhm.
lot of money. I'm not downplaying that, but Florida seems way more lit than California.
So it's their tuition is 16K, and then like their school
Don't
supplies
try to
will come
put
out
doves on it.
huh?
Florida is better than California. Don't try to put
It
doves on
is.
it. Florida is better than California.
Oh, it
California is
is by far.
trash.
It's cheaper. We
California's trash.
don't tax.
That too.
But Florida also, Florida's just more reasonable. Like I'm coming out to Cali at the end of August. And I'm kind of nervous because I haven't been there since like ninth grade. But I'm just looking at the prices of everything and I'm just like, why is everything just so expensive?
Gavin Newsom.
Ridiculous.
It's Gavin Newsom's fault.
I don't
Blame
know who that
Gavin
is.
Newsom. Gavin Newsom is the governor of California. He was the governor. It was the mayor of San Francisco before he became the governor of California. And he ruined San Francisco. He made it so expensive. Nobody could live there. They have massive homelessness. And they're like, this is the guy we want to be the mayor, the governor. He became the governor. Not much has improved. They actually had a recall election, but there just wasn't really any good competition for him to run against. And so he ended up getting reelected. Oh, this is crazy. Worst state in the country. So many other states better than California.
So
We
do
don't
you
need the
plan on
sunshine.
moving or are you just gonna do the multiple homes in different?
Multiple homes in different areas. I think the smartest thing to do would be to get an Atlanta home first. Um, but yeah, the only reason I'm here is because my wife doesn't want to leave her parents.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's whack out here, man, for multiple reasons. The bar exam is harder in California. Honestly, the job market really isn't that great. The pay is really not that great. So a large part of the reason why, like, I know people who like have really like. There's always people on the internet like, I make six figures, I make six figures, and they live in like Texas or North Carolina or like Atlanta, maybe perhaps. People in California don't be making six figures like that. I know
Really?
they don't. You would think so. You think everybody's making big money, but they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. It's not and that's the biggest frustration about the state is that the
Mm.
cost of living doesn't match the
What people are
compensation.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Florida's not as crazy. I love it here because it's a lot more reasonable, and I grew up here. The reason why, like me and my parents, I can't leave my parents. So we've talked about moving to another state together. And that's the only way I'll move. But Florida's like really lit. You should probably come here more often.
I'll have to look. But yeah, I know a lot of people in California who, if they're single, they can't move out. If they're married, they can't buy a house. And so it's like this weird dynamic where you're just gonna struggle. I know a
That's
lot of people who just can't move out of their parents' house because it's just so expensive to rent. It's like $3,000. And not only is it expensive, the requirements to rent are excessive. So they're wanting like three times the rent to move out. Everybody's like, I don't got three times the rent. How am I going to do that? So the only way to do it, and that's why I'm a very big proponent of marriage, because in California, you better be married.
to be
You better
split.
be married.
You can afford you can afford your own place. Like, I rent right now, but I have a place for me and the boys and it's really nice. You guys saw it in the mastermind. I only pay $1,400 a month here and I'm in Winter Park,
Wow.
in a very nice area. We have a basketball court. I have like a nice lanai.
$1,400.
Yes. And it's
Wow.
not, you saw my house, it's nice. We have
How many
stairs.
bedrooms?
It's a 2-2. But
Okay.
my boys are little, so it's
Yeah,
like
but still in
it works.
California, that might be like 3,200. Maybe like could put this upstairs down. So it's like a townhome, right?
Yeah, it's a townhouse.
Yeah. So
And
I
it's
would
nice
say,
too.
I would say two bedrooms, just apartments, 1,000 square feet. When we left, we had a two. When we moved into our house, we had a 2 bedroom, 2 bath. We were paying like 24.
Oh my gosh.
And they were gonna raise the rent on us. They were gonna raise the rent on us. I have a
Mm.
friend. I met him like last like a few months ago. He lives in the same apartments that we used to live in, and he's paying like 33 for a 3 bedroom.
That's a
3,300 to
thousand.
rent. To rent, Michelle Welch. It's ghetto out here.
Yeah, you guys gotta come to the east side. Come to the east states because Atlanta is dope. I'll be in Atlanta next weekend, because it's Crystal's birthday. So she's also doing her in-person class. So I'll be out there. It's ghetto in California. I'll be out there. And then the next weekend we'll be at Invest Fest.
It's coming up quick.
I'm
We need to
so
load up. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I need to get some books printed ASAP.
I feel
I
like
haven't
I
got my
texted you
books
the other
printed.
day and said, "Did we have our signage and everything like that?" But I may have not sent it.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure. I think I thought I texted you and said, do I need to create like a PowerPoint, or do I need to print things, or do we need to have anything there? Like, I'll probably text you after and let you know so I can get everything ready. So like if we need to get a banner, we can have it ready and pick up like when I get to Atlanta, because we got to be lit out there. Last year I went to Invest Fest as an attendee. This year I a vendor with Charles, and I think that's lit because I met so many. I met Alex Good Energy. I met Neo Davis in person. I met everybody. Everybody was there, and everybody recognized me because of my blonde hair. So I'll be back platinum again, but this time is different. This time we got to show out. We got to let everybody know who we are. So I'm excited. I'm so excited. I'm so ready. Like, to be able to network again and get out and be in a large space. I had a little anxiety, but I'm like, you know what? It's time for everyone to kind of like get back into conferences, get back out there. Like, the only way we can bring normalization to our lives is by creating it for ourselves. And so going back to the things that make us happy, doing the things that we like. So I'm so ready. And I hope we get to see some people there too. I think that'll be so dope. And we're gonna do a meetup when we're in Atlanta. We'll do like a luncheon or a dinner or something
Oh
with
yeah, it's
anybody.
gonna be lit. That's the best part. We're gonna have our own Invest Fest at Invest Fest.
It's gonna be
So,
so much.
probably gonna include Andre in the mix too. That'd be cool. See what
Yep,
Andre
Crystal will
has
be there.
shaking.
It'll be a great.
Andre's been kind of low key lately. What's going on, Andre?
Is he still on the live?
I don't know. I'm talking as if he is though.
He always,
He might
every
not.
time we go live, he comes on and he says something, or he sends a little badge or something. Shout out to Andre.
What's going on in business? We've been talking about lifestyle. What's going on in business?
So I reopened the books to my cleaning business because now I have a full staff. So
it took some time, but you found some people.
yeah, so this is what I did, and I'm actually very proud of myself because I said I would never do this, but I actually merged with another cleaning company. And he has like 16 contracts already. He has a full staff. He has all of that. So we actually came to an agreement, merged together, and now we're going to take it to Atlanta. We're going to take it to North Carolina. So the thing that
So
I've learned,
collaboration helped you expand, is what it sounds like.
yes, guys, come on, like. Somebody asked me, they were like, why would you collaborate with someone that has a cleaning business when you could just do it yourself? And I said, I've been doing it myself for 5 years. Doing it myself has caused me to burn out. Doing it myself has caused me to have to, work overnight. I did that for 6 months because I couldn't find the right employees. I had to put down a $7,000 contract. Like, doing it by yourself, you stop the bag, right? So I found somebody that's already established, that already has what they need. And to put us together is like massive. So I'm so excited. And, now our books are open again. And now I'll be promoting it because I wasn't promoting that we were accepting clients. So I'm really excited because, I've been learning how to do government contracts. And that's like another bag. And I'm now a minority woman business certified. It's when you're able to collaborate, you can then sit down and say, all right, you're going to handle all this. Like, he handles all of the operation in the field. I don't have to worry about any field operations. All I got to do is make a phone call. I handle all in office operations, which is amazing because I still get to do Prima. I still get to handle up. I still get to do my mastermind calls. So what it's done is it's allowed me to be more productive. So now I'm generating more income. Even though I have a partner now, I'm generating more income and I'm able to make money on the front end and on the back end. Stop thinking you have to do everything by yourself. You do not. And it hinders the bag so heavily, because not only that, now I get to tap into his network and I get to see what connections he's made and vice versa. And now we're going to be in 2 other states. So when I go to Atlanta next week, I'm going to start to see what area we're going to be in, where we're going to find our office, what we're going to do. And it's just like, boom, bang. What I've been
Yeah.
trying to do for 5 years, I'm now going to be able to do in less than 5 months.
I think what it also does is it puts more confidence behind you. It's kind of like an
Mhm.
army. If you're a soldier and it's just you out there, you're like, all right, we're gonna do this. But if you have other soldiers with you, now you stand a little bit taller. Now you talk a little bit louder. You're a little bit more aggressive. And so I said a long time ago that like business is war. And in order to engage in war, you need an army. This is not boxing. This is actual war. Why? Because the people that we're competing with have teams. The people that we're competing with have partners that are just as productive and strong and good and intelligent as they are. And so I think that that is powerful because it illustrates what I've been saying for a long time, that collaboration doesn't make you smaller, it makes you larger, especially when you create what we call synergy. Synergy is when one and one come together and they create more than two. So a lot of people, the reason why they don't want to collaborate and work together is because they think that one and one means they got to divide two. No, one and one means you get to divide 8. One and one means you get to divide 25, because now you're not focused on the actual task of assigning the duties out and doing all those different things. You just specifically
Mhm.
show up and bring in business, which allows you to get better at bringing in business, which means you get to bring in more business. Now you're putting all your effort and energy into systematizing that, putting processes there, networking, meeting people. That's the way you make business. You make money, you guys. The way you make money is when you stop fulfilling the business. Stop fulfilling the business and start working on bringing in the business, and then your business is going to grow and expand.
So quickly, and that's why I push so heavily to understand that's the foundation of your business. It's productivity goes into all of that. Now that I don't have to worry about operations, the technicians, the supplies, all that stuff, now I don't have to worry about any of that. Now I'm solely able to make sure that we're bringing in 3 to 4 contracts a week, that we're creating relationships with contractors and home builders, and we're able to put in bids. I've been bidding like crazy on different projects, $100,000 projects, and I'm able to be in my zone. This is my area of expertise in the cleaning industry, is getting contracts. I'm good at speaking. I'm good with my presence. I can
Mhm.
convince anybody to do anything,
The
but I
bottleneck
can't.
for you was just the people, the labor, delegating tasks, finding people. That was your bottleneck. And so now you got to outsource that process to somebody who might be better at doing that. And that's okay, you guys. It's okay. As an employee, you have to be good at all things. As an entrepreneur, you have to be good at finding people who are good at things that you're not good at. And that's okay, because nobody's good at everything. Why do you think LeBron James has to recruit talent? He's not good at everything. He needs people who can just knock down a three-pointer. He needs somebody who can just bang it down there and get rebounds. He needs these things. You need things to help your business grow. And by thinking that you are all that and you need nothing, you're gonna be struggling and you're gonna be small. I like it. How did you find this partner?
He found me, which
Oh,
was really, really dope. So I have my best friend. He owns a pressure washing company, and we collaborate on everything together. Like if cleanings, whatever, we work together on a lot of stuff. So he actually ran into this guy, and they started talking, and he was like, you know what? I need to introduce you to Michelle. And so he showed him my Instagram, and he was like, can you get us a meeting tomorrow? Immediately we met together, we got everything situated, and it was like chemistry instantly. Like, when you can work with somebody, it was just very free flowing. And we both have the same concept of the cleaning business. We both are on the same page. So it was honestly like I prayed for it. I've been praying for a really good collaboration, because you guys in the TCM, you guys have known what I've gone through with this cleaning business. I've had it for 5 years, and this is a business that I'm very emotionally attached to, because it changed my life. It's what took me out of poverty with my children. It's what set the tone for the amount of money that I know I could make. I mean, I made $17,000 in 2017 in less than 90 days cleaning houses. So when
it's
I
something
saw,
that's like an essential service that you know is not going anywhere. So it's a baseline for what you're doing.
mhm,
It creates
it
some stability there, creates some predictability there. You understand, and so it's like you don't want to just let that go.
No, and I built a really strong brand. That was the thing. Like, I don't have to promote my cleaning business. It promoted itself. It promotes itself based off of the last 5 years of the work that I've done, of the way that I've made sure we that value, visibility, consistency. So now that I have more power behind me, I have capital behind me, I have all of those things. It's like, what do you really think Michelle Welch can come up with now? Now that I have everything that I need, it's like, listen, there is no, I don't see no other cleaning companies. You can't touch me because you can't touch us. We're a team now. We got cleaners, we can do everything. We can do pavers, we can do pressure washing. So it's not just me and someone else that came together. My best friend came in. So now we're just like three Black business owners that are going to take over sections of Orlando. And for me, it's really dope because why are we going to struggle trying to get jobs and do things differently? Like, I was struggling with the employees. He has a roster, so now I don't have to
It,
worry.
it's tough to manage moving parts.
It's hard. It's really hard.
So I'm sure
It makes
you're taking something off of his plate as well. He's not just getting a free ride. He's
no.
bringing value. You're bringing value. Maybe that he couldn't tap into. Having a woman as the front of your business and your sales is very smart to do. You ever go into a jewelry store and they don't got a bunch of real N words in the jewelry store? They got a bunch of nice looking ladies at the jewelry store who they know they're gonna sell things to dudes. I've noticed that. I was like, bruh, it's always women inside the jewelry store, and they're always very nice, and their nails are always done so they can model the rings for you and everything. I was like, that's very interesting. Like, there must be something to this whole having women as a sales team thing. It's gotta be, and that's kind of like a life hack.
It is a life hack. Like, he even said it. We had a meeting last week, and he was like, yeah, I was people saw, we took a picture together, and he was like showing people, he was like, yeah, this is my partner. And they were like, damn, she's gonna make you look real good. And I was like, yes, I am. Like, because the one, it's one thing to have a woman in the front of the business that looks good, but like, have one that looks good and can talk, not even just talk a good game, but can produce and can put it out there. That's like a whole different vibe. Like, that's just a whole different thing for your business. And I try to stress to people that, like, the people you have running your business, that is the first thing people see. Crystal talked about this when we did our Facebook thing. She's like, it's like, even though it's digital, when someone walks into your store, you're gonna say hi to them, you're gonna say this, you're gonna say that. Well, in a service-based business, like how in what the cleaning company we operate, we have contracts sometimes that are six-figure contracts. They want to see who's going to be managing that contract. And in all actuality, someone would feel a lot more comfortable with me walking in than with my counterpart walking in,
Yeah,
talking and negotiating at the table.
it's true. It's very true. It's very true. And as a man, you got to be humble enough to know these things and accept these things because it's just the truth. Um, that's a part of the reason why you got to be married too, because women make you look better. It's funny because I show up somewhere by myself. It's a different experience when I show up with my wife. It's like, oh, it's way
You have more
different
respect.
interaction. Yeah. So, um, cool. The merger. I think that's awesome. What are some tips for people that you have who might be maybe considering doing something like that, but they're nervous about it? They're like, oh, I don't know. I'll be giving up so much and I've built this up and all that good, whatever excuses they might have.
I think one really big thing is, like, before you decide to sit down and go into business with somebody, you need to learn who they are. You need to sit down and have a good conversation, whether that be over lunch, whatever. I wouldn't say over drinks. But you need to find that place where you can talk and you could really understand, what do they want with their business? What do you want with your business? Because if you don't align with what the ultimate goal is, you're not going to be able to find common ground. One thing I don't like is arguing about money. Like, for me, I like things to be very clear, very concise, because it's already uncomfortable talking about money with people. Like, it is what it is. A lot of people don't feel comfortable with saying, yeah, like, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what the percentages are. So I think it's really important also to be very clear on what your expectation is. So if we're merging, my clear expectation was, do not expect me to clean. Do not expect me to be in the field. Do not expect me to be leaving my office. That's not happening. So if that is something that you want me to do, this is not going to work, because I'm not doing that. So you have to be very clear on your non-negotiables, on the things you want to do, the things you don't want to do, because the worst thing is to get into business with someone and then realize that you guys are not compatible. That is the biggest thing. And it sucks because it's like, typically when that happens, it's either someone's one idea gets kind of tarnished in a sense, because it's like, now we're not cool, we've built this brand up, now someone's gonna have to take the left field and it's gonna feel awkward, and we've built this together. So it's like, first things first, let's make sure that we're actually compatible and what our goals and milestones are. Secondly, how does someone operate the business? Look at, there's certain things. Do they already have a business plan? Do they already have marketing strategies? You don't want to go into business with somebody that's lazy. Like, it's very frustrating because then you got to backtrack a lot. I'm not one person to backtrack. I already know what I've built. I know where I'm at. So I need someone that's similarly on the same level. And honestly, take a risk. Trap it out, take risk and prosper. A lot of times we sit there and we're like, oh my God, I held on to my cleaning business for so long, so dear to my heart. I did not want no one running it. And you know what it did? It ran me into the ground. It did not love me the way I loved it, because it's a business. Businesses have emotions. So clearly it wouldn't love me because it's not a real thing. It's an entity. And so once I realized that, because I'm a big emotional bag of tears all the time, I had to let go. I had to cut that emotional attachment and say, you know what, Michelle? Do you want this to be a $500,000 business or a $5 million business? Do you want to be able to keep this business and run yourself into the ground? And you want this corporate business. You want all of these things. I want this to be a name that's in different cities, different states, everywhere. It can be. I want that. So if I want that, I have to take risks to match that. I'm not going to make that in Orlando. I need to be everywhere. And for that, I need a partner, because guess what? I still have Prima Business Agency. I still have six-figure cleaning business. I still got 2 kids. I no longer desire to have to always have all of the work on me. I don't want that. I want, like Jay-Z said, I would rather have 1% than have everything for myself. I don't want that. You guys don't understand the stress. It is so stressful running a service-based business, because if somebody calls out, guess who's cleaning? If somebody steals, guess who has to be there to talk to people? You know how embarrassing that is? It's crazy. And it's just like, it's always best to collaborate. That's the biggest thing, because we complain that we overwork in our business, but you're overworking because you're scared to give up the non-negotiables that you didn't want to do in the first place. I did not want to deal with staffing. So now I have a partner. I don't got to even worry about it. We're fully staffed. We got 15 people on deck ready to go. I don't have to worry. So it's just, at the end of the day, you just got to make sure that the vibe is there. If the vibe is not there, it's not going to work, because you're not going to trust each other. Have those money conversations early on. Do not wait. Don't sweep it under the rug. Talk about money. They're your partner. You have to be transparent. Your business partner is like your husband or your wife. Y'all are dealing with money and a lot of it. So there has to be that conversation. And expectation always just needs to be set. What are you expecting out of this? Because when you know what you're expecting out of something, you'll then know how much are you willing to give? How much are you willing to do?
I think the best part about what you guys did is you already were establishing your own right in coming together, because I think that it's one thing to start with nothing and then build something. It's another thing to come with something and then grow it. So now you can actually quantify the difference. So what a lot of people, what their mistake is, what they'll do is they'll start something and then they'll see like, oh, we made $10,000, but that's only $3,000. Well, you're in the beginning of your business, so it's going to not look like that much money. But if you're dealing with big numbers and you see an increase like that, now you can actually see the impact. And so a lot of people, they get frustrated because they might think like, oh, well, if I made $10,000, that could be my $10,000, as opposed to like you're doing things differently. And so you're seeing like, it's just a different kind of perspective. And this is why I can see why people would sometimes like come into something and then not see the benefit of collaboration, because they don't have a long enough term vision. Michelle's been doing cleaning for 5 years. It's a different conversation. She didn't just start this and say, oh, well, let's see how this works out, because then as things move slow, you kind of get frustrated. You kind of like, you don't even believe it's going to work out. And so that can kind of hinder the success of the partnership. And so you have to take a long-term vision when you're doing these things. You have to take a long-term vision when you're in business, period. No successful business owner is going to tell you that they just started one day and now they're rich. But a lot of individuals who don't work a job have the perspective that they can one day do something and get rich. And so you take this get rich quick mentality and then you start a business with it. And now you're getting frustrated for something that we already know is going to take a long time. So I think the people who are looking to start a business and they're starting from the ground floor, one of the best things you can do if you are partnering, take all the money that that business makes and just reinvest it.
Yep.
Don't even touch it because
Don't.
small money is not going to make a difference. And it's also going to let you know, one, that you need to take a more long term vision. And also, as you invest back into the business, you allow it to grow faster. So if you are somebody who's looking to get success, invest in that success. Put the money behind that success. Put the money behind systems, operations, hiring people, investing in better marketing, that kind of stuff. If you are so interested in getting success quick. But one of the worst things you can do is take an employee mindset into a partnership. It
Mm-hmm.
never works out. You got to
Mm-mm.
look at it as a business owner. You got to look at it long term, and you got to have the mindset that we're going to be reinvesting everything, especially when it's small. It doesn't make any sense to blow small money. The best thing you can do is invest that small money, especially when you're working together. Why? Because now you have the collaboration on your investment. So let's say, for example, you were doing it on your own and you made $3,000. Now you're going to invest $3,000 into that business. You can only get what is going to get you $3,000. But if you are working together and together you guys make $10,000, now you make a $10,000 investment, you're going to see a larger return. You're going to see a larger impact. If you invest $10,000 in Facebook ads as opposed to $3,000 in Facebook ads, the difference is going to be astronomical. And so this is really important because we just got to recondition our mindset. Maybe we need to learn some more business books, watch some more business podcasts, get around actual business people and talk to them about what you're doing, seek mentorship, seek guidance, because they're going to tell you the exact same thing that Michelle and I are telling you.
Yep.
You got to look at the longer term. And so that's why the collaboration always wins. The collaboration can't be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else is doing it. Why? Not because it doesn't work, but because it's proven to work. You cannot lose when you work together. It is like if you look at the statistics on poverty, like very, very, very few black families that are in poverty are married. That's a partnership. A marriage is just a partnership. And that's why I be leaning on it. I'm like, man, I know I need to do things like this morning. I went and I put the dishes up and then I washed the dishes. And I was like, I don't want her to feel like that whole burden falls on her. So it's like, even if I am doing a lot in my perspective, I got to still do more because I want to make sure that I'm over indexing on love. I want to make sure that I'm over indexing on that relationship and that partnership because that partnership is valuable. And so another thing that you got to make sure that you're not doing is showing up to a partnership and half-assing. Do not show up to a partnership and just be sitting around looking at other people working, because I've seen people do that too, where they're in business with somebody and they're not going 100%. They're not doing 110%. They're just letting the other person do the work. It's a great way to create resentment. It's a great way for that partnership not to grow. So as you're approaching these people, make sure you're bringing something to the table. Make sure you're bringing your best to the table and not just hoping for a free ride, because a free ride is going to turn into resentment real quick. And then you guys are going to start arguing and then you're going to be beefing on the internet talking about he's scamming you.
And that's like everything Charles is saying 100%. Like that's the reason why partnerships in the past did not work for me was because I was expected to show up at 100%. Like I was always expected. And now, because I've been in business and I've dealt with shitty partnerships and I've dealt with people stealing money, taking money, not being fair, whatever the case may be, I'm very meticulous about people that I work with. And I posted this the other day and it was like, the whole no new friends, keeping your circle small is for established people. It's for people that already have people in their network. So you and your two broke friends need to chill out and really start building something. And it's just like, you have to network in business. When the pandemic hit, I noticed the decline in my motivation of wanting to do business because I'm a networker. I'm a talker. I like talking to people. So it's just like, you have to just make sure you're aligned with whatever it is that you want. And you just have to bring something to the table that you got to add value. I would not be working with Charles if I didn't add value to him. I can say that right now. I constantly forced value on him because he didn't even want it sometimes. And I was like, no, I feel like this is the direction you need to go in. Please listen to me. And I was always there. Like I was always willing to ride for whatever it was, whatever, because I understood the value that he had and I saw the vision. So working with people that see the vision, that it not only does it keep you motivated, it keeps you disciplined. Because when I'm in Florida time, Charles is in Cali. When it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm up tweeting and he's still up, and then I'm up at 5 and he's still up, and I'm at 7 and he's still up, I'm like, what is he doing? And it makes me want to go harder, because it's like, boss man is a millionaire already. Like, I got to keep working. And it motivates you to want to be more and do more. But it also, I've gotten so many opportunities, like, not for nothing, InvestFest, I was an attendee last year. This year, I'm actually going to go as a vendor. That's an opportunity that I'm getting because I'm a part of TCM. And it's just like, I think sometimes people think that if it's not your name, if you're not the one in the lights, if you're not the one that's in the forefront, none of that matters. Are we getting a check? Are we making an impact? Are we doing what we love to do? So why does anything else matter? The likes
so
don't
funny.
get you paid, y'all.
Folks show up to jobs where they don't get no credit and they be happy. But they don't want to show up to a business unless it's their name on the top.
For what?
That don't make no sense to me. I don't even want my name. That's why the company's name is Todd.
Y'all don't realize it's not fun being the face of a company.
People always ask, why is name Todd? Because I didn't want my name to be on there. I just wanted to build something that was separate and apart from me. That's the whole concept of the LLC and business formation in general, is to build something that's separate and apart from you. So I didn't want to call it like Oglesby this or Charles this. I was like, I don't want it. And also I was kind of like trying to like fade into the background. I'm actually an introvert, and anybody who's been around me knows I'm an introvert. So I didn't really want to be the shine. For the longest time, I was doing things. I wouldn't even really put my face on stuff on the Thai Capital website or on the Thai Capital anything. Like, that's why it's a logo and it's not my face. Or if it was anything, it was a cartoon. But I hooked up with this graphic designer and they wanted to put me out there, and I just slowly got used to putting out there. But the real goal was to just build something valuable. And now I'm at a point now where it's like, I was having this thought. I was reading this book called The Private Equity Playbook, and it was talking about compensating people with shares, compensating employees with shares so that your interests are aligned. And I'm finding that a lot of times when people come to me and I can't pay them like a bunch of money, I just accept them. I expect them to just accept that. But what I need to do is explain to them the concept of what we're building so that they can see the vision. And so then they can fall in line. I just expect folks to get it, and they don't get it because they don't know it. They've never been exposed to it. They haven't read the books. And so I want to find a way to provide equity so that our interests are aligned, so that then people are buying in. And so that I explain to them like, hey, this, I'm going to pay you this, but further down the line, as this thing grows, you have equity in this, so that as it grows, your income is going to far surpass anything that I could pay you. And it's something that I knew in my brain, I just couldn't explain to people. And I realized that it's not their responsibility to get it. It's my responsibility to explain it. And so that's one of the things that I'm realizing.
And that's actually like a really like pivotal point in business, I think, when you realize that like the way you tell people how to do something is more important than expecting them to know how to do it. And I've had to learn that too, especially when I educate people. I have to remember, like, I'm 50,000 hours in. 50,000 hours in entrepreneurship. I've been doing this for over 5 years now, like full time, no job, didn't stop to go get a side job, nothing, all off my own strength. So it's like, in that space of knowing that, it's just like, I have to move different. You have to move different. Everything got to be different, you know? And we just got to, like, I don't know, collaboration is now, and I've learned that from you, Charles, like dead ass. I learned collaboration through the mastermind. I realized that my reach is so much bigger when I'm with all of my people. And that made me also create a new respect for me, because I was always very big on like, you got to do it by yourself. Like, this is all you, it's all on your back. Like, you got to create this brand. And it's like, no, I don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to work like that anymore. And I don't think anybody should, honestly, because entrepreneurship burns you out. I don't think people realize that because they're so used to seeing, you know, the Ferraris and the diamonds. And I'm like, how do you, you know, the ones that, for us that work, that are in service-based business, product-based business, it's stressful, y'all. A good friend of mine, he's going back to corporate because he said he's tired of the nonsense. He's tired of the chargebacks. He's tired of the people being stupid. He's tired. And I'm like, I don't feel you, but I feel you, because I had a breakdown today and I was like, I'm never leaving this entrepreneurship game alone. I'll never stop being a business owner. I will never work for somebody else. Like, it's just not going to happen. I know how to make money too many different ways for that to happen. And, you know, just not everybody has that mentality. So
My win today is that
Ooh,
I came into the office, and it's interesting because you were talking about like entrepreneurs and burnout. When I be golfing, it's because I'm overwhelmed a lot, like mentally overwhelmed. And if you guys got a chance to see where I was golfing yesterday, like that's a good place to
so
clear your head.
beautiful. It was so
It's like
beautiful.
you get to just appreciate life. There's no
Mhm.
sirens, there's no horns, there's no smog, there's no people, there's no phone calls, none of that stuff. And I get burned out because I do a lot. And I always tell my wife, like, just because I'm not like sitting down in the desk doesn't mean I'm not thinking about what needs to get done. And that thinking takes a lot of effort and energy, and it can burn you out. And so um I forgot where I was going with. Oh, my win. My win is that I came into the office and I have a client that I'm working with, and I'm going to be doing more of this, just like helping folks build out their social media, build out their products, build out all that stuff, and just take my energy to their brand. And so I get on the mastermind every morning, and I'm like, hey man, you got to post, you got to post, you got to post, and they might not have it. And so it's like I got to bring my energy, my effort, my intensity to what they're doing. So I'm gonna post 5 times in a row on your page. I don't care. We're gonna post the flyer back to back. I don't care. My responsibility is to get you seen. And what I found is the more seen you are, the more people have confidence in you because it appears that you have confidence in you. So my
Yeah.
win is that I came in the office and I took it upon myself to create some revenue for them. And so I created a pre-sale for their next product. I told him, y'all gonna create this product, fam. I put it out there. I scheduled the post. I scheduled the email, and we got them 6 sales. So um, happy about that. And we're gonna continue to run it up. And I haven't even sent it to my list yet. So once I send it to my list, it's really gonna blow up. And once I start promoting it on my Twitter and promoting on whatever, I remember when we first launched their product, we started out with the lead magnet, and the lead magnet, um, it was an ebook. I want to say I pushed it out and we got like 350 leads for them in like a day. And so we haven't really been pushing it as hard anymore, but I built up their audience to 350 emails in one day. So now they have a good place to stand on. Their social media presence started at like 1,500 followers through a few things that we did together. I want to say now they're at like 5,000 followers. It's a brand new account, real followers, organic followers. And so it's just cool to see the things that you're doing come to fruition. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link in there. It's called the Business Accelerator Program. It's $2,200, but it's going up to $3,000, y'all. So you need to tap in now. I want to say they've already made their money back, and we can just continue to run it up.
Listen, that's a really big thing. And I am dropping my, well, it's not a new program, but I'm reopening it back up again. It's my high productivity, high profits. And I'm currently working with a manufacturer. And basically, what I do, guys, is I teach entrepreneurs how to master their minutes so they can master millions through productivity, increasing sales revenue, visibility, all of that stuff through productivity in your business. And yeah, she's doing amazing. She just got placed in Wawa and Walmart. And so I'm creating a program for her employees through HR, for her training program, for the policies and procedures. I have a very heavy background in business development and HR, so I work with people primarily like in business development, but I kind of couple it with productivity, because guys, if you are not productively producing, what are you doing? Like booked and busy is a day and it's gone. It's nothing about that. So that's super dope, Charles. I'm really proud of you though, because a big win is I've been pushing you to do a high ticket for 2 years now. And the fact that you're doing it now, I'm super, super proud of you because you were very resilient in pushing against it. And I'm glad you're now finding kind of like your way in it because it's so much fun. Isn't it fun growing other people's brand and seeing the impact that you can have just with your knowledge base? Like that, I think that is really, really dope. Like that's
Yeah,
really dope.
it's cool because it's a challenge, and so um, I kind of stepped up to that challenge. And sometimes when I feel like I'm falling short, I got to ramp it back up. And so it's I've done some easy things, but it's really cool to do this. And when you go high ticket, you really only got to sell a few to take care of the whole month. So it's kind of like the same marketing and promotion that you put into selling your low ticket. If you put that into your high ticket, man,
Listen,
20
listen.
million, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million. So I think that's what's cool is that, but also just having the impact on people in real life. The information is cool, but being able to kind of take it, the ball, and run with it, I
Is a
like that a
different
lot.
story. Someone put in the chat, her stuff works. Alex, shout out to Alex. So, do you know the interview that I have, Charles, where I'm like in an office and I'm talking about the cleaning company and I'm like going in? I'm gonna repost this clip of it today. But Alex Miner, he has a podcast here in Orlando, and when I had my tax office, he came and interviewed me, and that interview went viral. The clips of it went viral on LinkedIn. And they've gone viral on Instagram. And we did that interview like 2-3 years ago. And I still use the clips and I still get like stuff on it. So shout out to Alex. He's here in Orlando and he said he's been using the day theming and time blocking the last 2 weeks. I
People
love
loving that day theming and time blocking. They're
I
loving
get
it.
tagged on so many posts now from people telling me that they're doing it. And listen, guys, find the one thing that you're good at and drill it into people over and over and over. I've been running from time management and productivity coaching for so long because I was like, I need to do this, I need to do that. No, this is what I'm good at. I'm good at telling people how to organize their time. And people have been seeing results. So if you need help, you need to tap into the Tide Capital Mastermind, number one, because I'm in there almost every single morning screaming at y'all about productivity.
What
I
I
really
like, what I like about it is it's unique to you. And there's probably somebody who's watching this and they have a really good idea, but they don't have confidence behind it because they don't see somebody else already doing it. And I want to let you know that's a mistake. Some of the best ideas that you have are the ones that people aren't doing. So if you are sitting on something that is just great, it's produced results for you, and you don't see it on the market, that's exactly the idea you need to be taking to market. And so it's really cool to see that because, and also seeing the impact that she's having because now she kind of owns that space. Ain't nobody else on the internet talking about what she's talking about. So therefore, she is the space. And that's where you want to be. So I think that's really cool to see. And it's something that I kind of drill into the mastermind members a lot is telling them to kind of find their unique space. A lot of them, when they first come into the group, they're like, oh, I've seen people doing this, so I'm going to try that. And people seen people doing this, so I'm going to try that. And you have a guy like Ricky, who he comes in there and he's like, man, I've actually had success losing a bunch of weight. And I don't even think he noticed it was like a big thing. But I want to say, like, I made a comment. I was like, bro, like, where you going? You've been disappearing lately. You're just getting skinnier and skinnier. He's like, oh, yeah, I've been doing this and this. And so then we're reading the book, $100 Million Offers, and they were talking about just like the weight loss thing. And he was like, you know what? I could do that. And so I think that for people who are looking to kind of like sometimes figure out what they need to do before they join the mastermind, you need to join the mastermind before you figure out what you need to do. All you need to know is that you want to do something. And you're going to find something. You're going to overhear something. We're going to be discussing a concept. We're going to be reading a book. You're like, man, that's my idea. A lot of people, I think Chris, when he first joined, I don't even think he knew what he had in his hands. All he knew that he was doing something to make money. And we're like, bro, like, this would be great if you taught that. A lot of people would want to learn how to resell things. Like, I wouldn't want to learn how to resell. I bought this course. And so there's untapped value that you might not see if you're not in the right environment, because certain environments don't see value in that. We just happen to. And so I would encourage you guys to join the mastermind, TideCapitalMastermind.com. We meet every single morning, including Saturday. And we have this Saturday, we got Henry dropping in to be teaching you guys on content, which is going to be really great. I feel like a pastor. When like a pastor gets to take the Sunday off, I'm like, oh, I get to take the Saturday off. You know, I'm good. But we did have a really, really good call this Saturday and the past Saturday. We're talking about different things. I know Michelle and Bruce are going to be doing something on Wednesday, I believe.
I think it's tomorrow. Tuesday.
Really? Tell Henry to make a flyer.
Yeah, I need to make a flyer. I'll make one as soon as I get off. Or I'll probably schedule it for Wednesday.
Or Henry could. Either you or Henry, whoever.
Yeah, but we're talking tomorrow or Wednesday. I'll have to hit up Bruce and ask him what day he wants to do it. But we're going to be talking about how to create more streams of income in your niche. Now, a big thing is that you guys see on the internet is people pushing, you need 7 streams of income. You don't need 7 different streams. You can form 7 streams out of one niche. So I'm going to give you guys a breakdown really quickly. So I have a cleaning business. I also do cleaning industry coaching. I also sell cleaning products, and I also have digital products. So now I have 4 different streams underneath that one niche of the cleaning industry. So one thing we're going to talk about tomorrow is how to create products or a service out of what you currently already have. Because some people feel like, oh, I got to go open up another business. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. No. look at what you have in front of you, because it's all about monetizing your genius. You can create a digital product, you can create a course, you can create templates, you can create a workbook, you can create a mastermind group based off of the knowledge base that you have. It doesn't matter. So if you are somebody that wants to learn how to increase your income while not actually having to do like tons of other things, you need to be on that call tomorrow, because listen, me and Bruce together, me and Charles are a great duo, but me and Bruce, because he does sales, is really, really dope. So this is going to be a great presentation, and you might figure out, another stream of income in whatever you're currently doing. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, our engagement has been getting really, really good in the Facebook group. We have a lot of people posting their wins. We have a lot of people posting their progress. And that's the big thing. And one thing that we're going to continue to do now, because I really like it, is adding a homework assignment for the day. So every day that we teach something, last week we had our Canva training. That was amazing. And we had our people. Charles, do you see the graphics that are being pushed out now by our TCM members? Quality. I taught everybody some little tips and tricks. It was an hour class and it was amazing. And everyone really went with it. People are doing it. I think last week I also did a refresh on time management. And I've had some people telling me that really helped. So getting in the room is key. And we have the room that you need to be in, because it's only getting bigger and it's only getting better. And we're only giving more value. That's really what it's on now. We're allowing our members to basically tell us what they need, and we're providing it. And at the end of the day, you can't get much better than that. You got some really great mentors in there. So shout out to Talk Capital Mastermind.
Yeah, we out here.
We're about to hit our 2-year anniversary, Charles. August 27th.
Yeah. We got to throw a party. A little virtual party.
That's dope. I wanted to come out there to do a live recording for the 2-year anniversary, because I think that's a big deal.
We could do that. I already got the studio, I need to make my studio more studio-ish. We already got the studio.
I already told you when I come there, we're gonna.
My studio is fire. The only thing I need to probably take down is that Super Bowl flag.
I really feel like t-shirts on the wall are not the vibe.
I'll accept that. Maybe I'll take my t-shirts down. I never thought about that. It is kind of ghetto, huh?
I wasn't trying to say that.
The flag is okay though.
Because it's TCM, but the way you have the pictures, we just need, it just doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. And I just, we're wealthy over here. We can look like we got a little bit of organization on the wall.
I thought it was nice.
You're a guy. You think you just threw them up there.
All right. What I'll do is maybe I'll take the t-shirts down. I got some more watch pictures that I can move over.
Yeah, the t-shirts need to come down. You need to take the TCM flag. That needs to be above everything. That is the main. And then that actually needs to be where the white.
That's the problem. You can't see it. Maybe if I put it in the middle of the wall then.
I'm saying in the middle, because if you move the watch, the white watch, and you move the flag up a little bit and then move the other ones to the watches to the side, then it's perfect. Then it's not too much. It's not too crowded. You see the vision I'm going for,
All right. You should see my
them
other
shirts
wall.
need to come down, please.
If you saw the other wall, you really have some comments.
It's okay. I told you when I get there.
I got 3 towels over there. I got just random stuff. I got a flag. I got this really cool picture that says Millionaire. But all right.
Will be on that wall. It's okay. We're gonna get it together. It's cool.
Right. That's funny. Well, it is 5:15. I'm starving. I haven't eaten anything
for an hour. We've been on for 98 minutes. I think that's dope. And we've kept our audience. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us, with our random conversations.
Y'all the real MVPs, man.
For real.
We talked about a lot of really interesting topics. We touched on some. We always talk about relationships on here. We're just gonna call this the relationship podcast, the Millionaire Relationship Show.
It's time to find the co-host of husband. It's all right.
We in here. It says Facebook user. Oh, that's Cornelius.
Yeah. We in here.
Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. Man, join the Business Accelerator program. I talk about a lot of concepts in the mastermind, but in the Business Accelerator program is where we put those to work on your behalf. So if you're hearing information, if the information is valuable, but you're like, man, I just want somebody to just take it and run with it, I'm your man. And it's not just me, it's the whole team. We created a bunch of content for our people. And now I even got even more tools I'm going to start employing on behalf of my partners because I don't consider you guys partners. And what I'm going to be doing very soon is implementing an equity piece where I don't just want to get paid off of the actual front end. I also want some equity, and it's in both of our interests to take that position because then I can charge you less, and then we are in business in terms of partners. And so now I have a vested interest in you running it up, really running it up. You make an M, I make 100 grand, and we all happy. I can
I
buy a
think I'm
boat
about
or
to go buy the program. I'm buying the business accelerator right now.
something.
It's a wrap.
So tap that link. It's at the top. Man, this is really cool. I'm glad that we were able to do this. You know, great things happen when you don't be over here like trying to push things out multiple days. Like if Michelle hit me up, she's like, "We need to record." I was like, "Oh, well, I won't be free until Friday at 8 o'clock Pacific
No, get
Standard
on the
Time."
computer right now and send me a link, please.
Let's get it
We
done. Let's get it done. We're what do you got for the peeps, Michelle?
um y'all just tap into the mastermind, tap into Charles accelerator program, tap into the high productivity high profits program. Listen, we got all that you need. If you don't know how to productively produce, hit me up. If you need to grow your brand and get it stable, hit Charles up. If you just need some encouragement and you need someone to kick your ass every morning, hit up the Tide Capital Mastermind. You can get it 3 ways.
The worst
And
thing you could do is not join the mastermind.
yeah, that's crazy if you don't like.
Man.
Oof. We be in there like fire. Like y'all think I drop gems on the daily. In the mastermind, it's fresh when we wake up. It's in the morning, and I'm a whole different beast in the morning time. Like we be in there. Charles is in there dropping gems. Saturday, my mom hopped in real quick and dropped a couple gems. It was really, really dope. It's dope. It's we got a cute little family. Oh my gosh, it's so cute to see what's happened. In 2 years, guys, August 27th is our 2-year anniversary for the Tide Capital Mastermind, and y'all just gotta tap in, show love.
And with that, we out of here.